Hello, and welcome to MTI Matters, a series of programs focusing on alumni of Manatee Technical Institute and how their training at MTI has made a difference in their lives. My name is Virginia Siraki. I'm Executive Director of MTI Alumni Association. Today, we will meet 4 graduates of MTI whose education and training ignited their entrepreneurial spirit, which enabled them to open and operate their own businesses. I'd like to welcome Rick Allard, Brenda Ayers, Claudia Cruz, and Clayton Sutton. Welcome to MTI Matters. Let's start with you, Rick, and we'll just go down the line and tell us the name of your company and what it is that you offer to the community.
It's Southern Comfort 1-hour air conditioning and heating. We've been in the area now 27 years, and obviously we offer an array of air conditioning, heating, indoor air quality products and services and maintenances, and plumbing now too, to the local communities. Thank you. Brenda?
I have a business, a hair salon called Adventures in Hair. Been there for 11 years working, had another business for 16 years, Brenda's Way. So it's been very successful for me, and I really enjoy what I do.
Wonderful. Claudia?
I'm Claudia Cruz, and my business is Cruz Towing Service, and it's my father's business originally. He's been in business for over 20 years, and he's ready to just let go. So my husband and I took over the business, and we provide towing and service, roadside assistance in the community. So.
Wonderful. Mm-hmm. Clayton?
I'm from Mechanical Incorporated. We do plumbing, heating, and air as well. I started the vocational school in '64 and started my business in '74, and so it's my 39th year in business.
Terrific. Claudia, let's go back to you and tell us a little bit about your experience at MTI. What were you studying?
Accounting operations, to be able to help out and run in the business. I wanted to spice up my skills a little bit more, and with MTI, I was able to not just get the accounting part of it, but the personal community service projects and things like that. We were able to participate, go to Skills USA, and that gave me a lot more confidence and be able to participate and speak with other people and be able to just take over the business on its own, you know.
And did you have any particular mentors or instructors who were very helpful
definitely.
to you?
My instructor, Ms. Griggy, who retired after I graduated from her class. And we had Ms. Wecker and Ms. Parrish, my counselor also. And Ms. Linda Agresta was our, I'm not sure how you call it, assistant. She's the assistant director for MTI, but she helped out with Salvation Army project, and she was involved with that also with us.
Mm-hmm. And Rick, what about your experience at MTI?
It's an unusual route. I went to MTI in 1979. After I got out of the Army in October of '78, and I was a helicopter crew chief, not a lot of occupation on the outside, limited. So I was visiting a friend in Palmetto who just got out of the Army about the same time as I did, and I was reading through Braden Harrow going, AC techs, $300 a week. Wow, that's incredible money, you know? And I'm thinking, you know, air conditioning field might be pretty good into it. I can move to Florida, and that's how I got in the business. I went over to MTI under the GI Bill, and I actually came the second week of January. I came down here. I drove back to New York, 24 hours, drove back to Florida, started MTI like a week later. I went through '79, and but what was strange when I got into the trade, it was just to get into the trade as a step to something else, because you know you go to work for Publix, or I thought I'd get into trade to be able to make more money, but then go to college at the same time. But I found out that I could do a better living, make a better living in the trade and going to college. And I was going to college for engineering. I dropped out of college, and here I am all these years later, still in the business.
Good for you. Brenda, what about your experience at MTI?
I was in Mrs. Leatherman's class in 1976. And at that point, there was only like 2 classes for cosmetology. And I finally got in there. It was something that I always wanted to do. I've always enjoyed doing hair. I had sisters that I worked on all the time, and I work on my own. So it was like, you know, this is something that I was very interested in. So I went there and I had a job as soon as I graduated. I worked for about 2 years, and I had set a goal for myself to have my own business in 5 years, and I did. It's been a lot of hard work keeping it going, and also making sure that, you know, everything is taken care of with a business. People think it's easy, but it's, as we know, it's not always easy. But it has been very good for me, and I love it.
Clayton, tell us about your MTI experience.
I started when I was in high school in '64 and took small gas engines for a couple of years, and then after I graduated I went to MCC for a year on electromechanical engineering, and then I got into a 5-year apprenticeship program at MTI in heating and air conditioning. And after 4 years in it, I switched over to plumbing. And for the last, I had to go an extra year, so it was a 6-year program because I did both. And now I'm kind of phasing out of the business, and my son's taken over, and he's got his plumbing master's, and he's got his Class A refrigeration license, and he's going to go more into air conditioning and as well as plumbing, where I stuck with commercial and industrial plumbing. But I got all my training at MTI, and I've been in business 39 years now.
Why did you choose MTI?
Well, because when I got out there back in '64, I found out my aptitude was a lot better for working with your hands, and the specialized training you got in vocational training versus high school. And then when I went to junior college, I just liked the training programs where the program you worked 6 hours a week at night. You went to school 6 hours a week, and then you worked 40 hours a week, so you could you worked full time. You could work your way through school, and you got on-the-job training as well as your classroom.
Mm-hmm. And Rick, why did you choose MTI?
I just happened to be visiting a friend in Florida in Manatee County. It was the closest school.
Okay. Brenda?
I chose MTI because of the fact that I had heard that it was a very good school. I could not afford at that time to really go to a private school and pay the cost there, but I was very glad that I did go to MTI because the instructors there were wonderful, and even if one couldn't, you know, do everything, the other one on the other side would help out with different things. So it was a great experience, and I always recommended MTI to everybody.
And Claudia, how did you choose MTI?
I have children, so whenever I have to choose something, I do lists and I compare and everything. I liked when I researched the accounting program, which was what I was interested in, and I knew I was going to have a business sooner or later. I didn't know what. I didn't think I was going to be doing towing service and things like that, but it's a good experience, and I chose MTI because I liked it had everything I needed to learn, to be able to take over and be able to feel confident with myself to do it. So
now you mentioned that you had gone on to Skills USA. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
With being in the business technology cluster, they asked us if we could go help Salvation Army's Angel Tree program to register families. And that's how it all started with the community service project. So it was a group of 8 girls that went, and we wanted to be there when we wanted to distribute the toys to the families. Well, we ended up packing up all the toys and just being there the whole time. So it turned into a big, over 1,000 hours of community service with the group.
That's terrific.
Mm-hmm.
And Clayton, your journey from MTI to starting your own business, did you do anything in between those 2 times?
Well, I graduated from the apprenticeship program in June of '74, and I was working for Dr. Connard doing Blake Hospital in the doctor's gardens, and the bottom fell out about like it is now in '74, and when that job got done, most of Florida was union back then, and I belonged to the plumbing and pipe fitters local, and when I went to see what kind of jobs were available, the only thing they had was working as a welder on the Alaskan pipeline. And at that point in time, I had my master's contractor's license, and so I decided to start putting in water and sewers in Manatee County. They had just put a new sewer system in, and so I went in business basically because there wasn't any work out there, and I could work here locally, starting my business, just hooking up water and sewer, and it went from there on.
You're shaking your head over there, Rick. Does that sound familiar?
It does. A little bit of difference. As the years went by, the state of Florida required at least 4 years of on-the-job training before you could at least apply to get your license. So I went to work for a couple small local companies. Didn't learn much. I learned that I could do a better job than they did. So really at year 4, when I could minimally apply for my license, I went and got it. Unfortunately, I had a lot of time to study for it. I was hurt on a construction accident pretty bad, and tore my ACL and destroyed my leg and all that. So I had a lot of time to study. So I figured if I'm going to have this time, I might as well do something productive and get my license. And that's where it came from. Sometimes out of adversity comes something good. But that's where the company was born.
Okay. And Brenda, you said within 5 years you owned your own salon. From the time you left MTI till you got your own salon, were you working for someone else?
Yes, I got my first start over on Manatee Avenue with a gentleman, Johnny Webb, who is a very dear friend of mine still. And he brought me in and really kind of showed me the ropes, and I had left there and went into Sarasota. I worked there, and then I worked for another salon, Sheer Pleasure. And that's when I kind of branched out and started my own.
I'm going to switch gears a little bit right now, and not only are you business owners, you're also employers. And I'm wondering, as an employer, what would you tell current students at MTI that you would be looking for in a prospective employee if they would apply to your company, and why you would expect these things from them? Claudia, we'll start with you.
Well, for my company, it's mostly driving. It's a towing business, but we also offer small mechanic work. And I have, had people to come over that don't have the licenses. And the first place I do send them is MTI, because they do have the hands-on experiences, and they will be more confident in themselves after, even though they've been doing it without a license. Once they get that certificate, that license, they feel a lot more confident in themselves.
Mm-hmm. And Clayton, what would you tell your employees?
Well, what I've found is work ethics is the biggest thing that can be taught at any school, and to get there on time and be trustworthy. And you can be the smartest student in the world. If you're not trustworthy, you're of no value to any business. And also, students need to realize that the world is a drug-free workplace nowadays, and you just can't have any recreational drugs of any kind, and it's just real important to be responsible when you're going to work for a company if you're trying to build a future.
And Rick?
What we're looking for today is soft skills. It used to be, in fact, when I was in school, they want you to fix it. You go out there, burn wire, you fix it, and you leave. But there's more than doing that. You look at the whole system. You review the whole system. It requires more maintenance, more attention. But what people need today are the soft skills, not only showing up on time, but be able to communicate with people effectively and present a proper diagnosis and solution to whatever the issues are at the time. The trade's just not fix it anymore. It's about offering solutions and services to people, not fix it and run.
Mm-hmm. And Brenda?
And in our In my career, it's a little bit different because we're looking for a little bit more than just making sure that they're honest and trustworthy. When I look at that resume, I look to see, how they were in school, as to what kind of things that they did, like getting into Skills USA. It's very important to us that it kind of tells us that they've got the initiative to do more. And being involved in community service and everything, that tells me a lot too. But we're also looking for someone who looks the part. They don't come in, with jeans on and, their hair all messed up or makeup not done. We're looking at from head to toe. And we want somebody that's cheerful, can get along with people. You've got to have a lot of communication skills with clients, because you're going to be dealing with a lot of different people, even in the other lines of work here too. We want them to also, in our business, be able to be there. Because ours is not where you're going to go out and you're going to do something all the time. You may have to sit there for a couple hours because you don't have a client coming in, but there's ways of being able to get clientele into you if they, want to. But a lot of, students, they want to go, they want to do one person, they don't have anybody else, I'm going to go home. Things like that. So we're looking for somebody that's really into it. Really, this is what they want to do.
Now, do any of your businesses have an internship program? Do you take interns, or do you have any type of apprenticeship before they can come on as a full-fledged employee? Rick?
Yes. We look for the basic qualities, be able to show up on time, pass the background check, drug test, good driver's license. Because if you can't pass those three, which is hard, I bet you 7 out of 10 applicants will fail one of those three tests. But if you get those three and you, again, the soft skills I talk about, you present yourself well, we can train you in the trade in-house too. And I also work obviously with MTI. John at MTI, we're consistently in contact with students. But the other thing is, you got to make sure the students can pass all the three criteria to get there too. And MTI's done a good job of letting kids know, who are young adults going into the school, that these criteria are looked at employers. So somebody doesn't go in with a really bad record, go through a year worth of training, they can't get a job.
Right. What about with your company? Do you take interns? Do you have any type of apprenticeship?
Typically, we'll try somebody out. Maybe 6 months to a year, depending on when the class starts, and if they work out and they're good and trustworthy and dependable, we'll enroll them in MTI, or we also have an adult education state indentured apprenticeship program, and we'll work with them. That's a 4-year program, but John Kenny does a terrific job out there at MTI. And matter of fact, he used to work for me, and he went through his apprenticeship with our company, and then later became a teacher out there. And so I do a lot of one-on-one with John as far as knowing what the students are learning and how they're progressing and who's really standing out.
Brenda, for your business, because it's a lot of creativity, do your potential employees have to audition for you? Do they have to come in and do your hair or do somebody's nails to try?
If they're going to come in and do nails, yes, I want to know how well they can do a set of nails, how fast they can do a set of nails. I mean, let's face it, not everybody has all day long to sit there and get a set of nails put on or their hair done. So they have to have the speed, they have to have the knowledge that we try to give them, and I like to give them a few months and see how they're going to progress. If they're bringing in clients on their own, or they're waiting for myself to hand them clients, that's not going to work because they've got to build up a clientele for themselves. But yeah, it's basically an apprenticeship. On my part, I'm looking at them to see.
And what about you, Claudia? Are there any? Do you do internships, or do you have an apprenticeship?
Not currently. We don't, because it's a very small family-owned business. But it's something that I am looking towards expanding in the future. I do want to give, like, the business technology administrative, students a chance to come in and train. And like I said, what I like to do with people that come over, and ask for work and things like that is try to motivate them to keep going. Like if they finished high school and that's where they stop, go get yourself a technical program, and that'll help them boost up, like I said, their confidence in themselves, that they can go farther. Always keep setting goals.
Rick, are you still involved with MTI at all?
Yes, I'm the trade representative on the Board of Governors. I'm consistently meeting with John, the instructor at MTI, and about every 3 months we have a meeting at the school too. And I'm a liaison between the field. They need equipment, need manufacturer help, whatever, they contact me too.
And Clayton, are you still involved?
Yeah, I've been on the Board of Governors since they created it. And I'm on the alumni committee and on another committee to see what we can do about saving the West Campus and using it productively.
And you're also on the board of the foundation.
Yeah, that's right.
And Brenda, what is your current involvement?
Well, I started teaching back in '93. I started teaching the night nail class. I was asked to come in and put in when Mr. Mills was there. And I enjoyed it so much, then they brought me into the day class. So I was teaching the night and the day, and I've taught everything there. Just recently, I became the department head
Well,
for
congratulations.
cosmetology. Thank you.
And Claudia, are you currently involved with MTI?
I'm part of the MTI Alumni Association. I'm also still in contact with Salvation Army, so I just had a meeting with her a couple weeks ago to start to be a liaison between MTI and the Salvation Army for community service programs that they have, because they have like the bell ringers and all these programs going on right before the holidays, and throughout the holidays is the busiest season. So she needs somebody that'll be able to be there and help her out with all that. And that's what I'm doing right now with Salvation Army and MTI.
Brenda, did you have something else, Clayton?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention we're probably all involved with Skills USA. I've been a judge ever since we've had Skills USA, and that's probably the single most important thing we've done to get people to recognize what MTI is all about.
That's right. In a few weeks, MTI will be going for its, hopefully, 10 years in a row earning more medals than any other technical school in the country. So we're very confident that that's going to happen. What I'd like to do now is we'll start with Brenda this time. What would you say to anyone who's uncertain about what their future holds and whether or not to continue schooling?
I would say that at this time, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. And if you're looking at maybe taking another trade or learning something new, whether it be with plumbing or whether it be with cosmetology or accounting or anything like that, it always helps to have that, so that in case the bottom falls out, they have something else to go back to.
Mm-hmm. Would anyone else like to comment on what you would tell a student?
I'd tell students keep learning and keep in some kind of an education. I took, like I say, small gas engines in high school, but I still use the skills I learned from that in my business, and I became a certified welder out there. Like I say, I went there 10 years, so I took a lot of different programs and completed a lot of them, and People don't think that one's related to the other, and no matter what you take out there, you can use it in all kinds of other trades. You might, you know, I started out in air conditioning and commercial air conditioning and ended up doing commercial plumbing, but it's all interrelated.
Mm-hmm. Rick?
Well, you never know what life's going to bring you. A great example, when I got out of the Army in '78, somebody told me I'd be getting the air conditioning business in a couple months in Florida. I thought, you're nuts. Air conditioning? I never lived in there. I was in upstate New York. Air conditioning? So you never know where life takes you. And here it is all these years later, and it's only supposed to be something temporary. But the biggest thing is that always keep learning, always keep striving, and always have a plan B.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Claudia?
What I've told people is if they don't have a goal set right now, if they don't have anything that they're thinking about, they just finished school or they're about to finish school and they just want to take a break, it's like you don't lose anything by going out there and being involved. You know, by going to school, you're involved, you get pulled so many different ways, and I enjoyed every single bit of it.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of small programs like in learning web page design or different business management programs that you don't have to obligate yourself for a 2 or 3 or 4 year program. You can take a summer program or just a course to see what it's all about.
I'd say that if, you know, I wasn't as busy as I am, I'd be taking a lot more courses out there myself.
Okay, we're down to the last few minutes, so we'll just go down the line, starting with Rick. And in your own words, can you tell us, why does MTI matter?
It matters because the trades are probably the most important thing for the country going out. There's been a lot of push about colleges, but most degrees we're finding aren't really relevant to the workplace to making a good living. About everything in MTI can make you a really good living quickly, and not much in college can do that.
Brenda?
I definitely agree with what Rick said, and I would say that, you know, anybody who wants to do anything in their lives, you know, MTI is there for them. It's a wonderful school, and not just because I teach there or that I went there. I just feel like that the MTI, we're like a family. We care about our students and we care about what's going on with.
Claudia?
Yes, definitely. I think MTI matters because a lot of students coming out of school, they're used to just book work all the time, and this different experience of hands-on, they get a lot more creative, they start getting more motivated to be able to have a future with any type of job that they want to do, because they get this chance to learn differently than what they've always been used to throughout school.
Great. And Clayton?
What I'd like to tell people is the amount of different programs that's out at MTI that people don't realize. That building 1 is all construction technology, and then you got culinary, and then you got building 3 is auto mechanics and machine shop and welding, and then you got all the computer programs upstairs and cosmetology under it. And besides that, we got the medical arts building out at Lakewood Ranch, and we do all the medical programs. You can become an EMT or a paramedic or a dental hygienist, and then we got the law enforcement program and the fire science program. So MTI covers a whole lot of highly educated skills.
We would like to thank Brenda Ayers, Claudia Cruz Abrego, Clayton Sutton, and Rick Allard for describing how their MTI training led to lucrative careers. If you are an MTI graduate and have a story to tell, we'd like to hear from you. Please visit our website or call us at the number shown on your screen. Until next time, I am Virginia Siraki, reminding all of us that MTI matters.